Oh, that's somebody's.
Obsolete. The place from where the noonday gun will be fired today is called the Saluting Battery. It's located on the St Peter and St Paul Bastion, the historic Valletta fortifications built in 1566. Given its unique vantage point, its guns could easily protect the full length and breadth of the Grand Harbour against a sudden attack. This battery also had a ceremonial role, where gun salutes would be given to announce the news of an important victory. This place remained in constant military use until 1956. Since then, its guns have unfailingly heralded the passage of midday on a daily basis, as you will witness today. Please note, immediately after the firing of the main gun, you can visit this battery.
Fire!
Whoa, what a journey by bus. 3 buses I had to catch, and that was quite a fraught journey. So here I am in the middle of nowhere, just about to start my day's adventure. So let's start the trek. Just about 11:30 in the morning, only a couple of minutes later than anticipated after my traumatic journey. One thing after another, but by the skin of my teeth, just to get here. So let's start this journey coast to coast across Victoria lines. So my starting point is the old Victorian military barracks set up under the rule of Queen Victoria, designed to keep the French at bay. So this is the barracks. It's pretty much on the west coast. And the first point of call is Fort Bingama, which is sitting atop the hill over there. That's my first base. Let's go. Original fortifications still in place, still intact. For large stretches of this walk, at times they do disappear, having crumbled, fallen down, broken up over the years. There's a section here which is quite low. Crack on now at a pace and try and get to the fort in about half an hour's time. Sunny day. Quite as hot as yesterday. Little chance of rain a bit later on. And we are approaching Fort Bingama. Followed much of the original fortifications that connected the military barracks to this place. So apparently it's been illegally occupied for some decades now by a Maltese family who are refusing to budge, and this enraged a lot of people around the place. And yeah, Maltese government have been trying to get them to move out, but haven't been making much of an effort. And they're saying we're not going unless you find us somewhere suitable that we can afford. So for now, the place is inaccessible because of this family. So this is the eastern side of the fort. Massive place, much bigger than the military barracks I started from. And yeah, the Victoria lines run along a great fault line across the island. The British took control in the 1800s, inheriting the fortifications built up by the Knights Hospitaller. And in 1875 work was started by the British to extend, reinforce the line, and they put in place a lot of gun placements to protect the valuable assets in the south from any invasion. And the trail I'll be following from here towards what's called the Binghammer Gap follows a bit of the wall that's still in place down there. That's where I'm heading to next. I might take a little break here at the Binghammer Gap, which continues across that road. Beneath the walls there are some ancient burial tombs. The chapel, I seem to remember, sounds quite interesting. Might not be open, but we'll take a look. There's a group of people coming from the Victoria lines from the other direction. They're going east to west by the look of it. Just as I thought, the chapel is closed. I've just come from down that line of fortifications. Now we're going to cross over the road and carry on. But let's take a look at those tombs first. Let's see what is going on over there. Just speaking to somebody, apparently some are Christian catacombs and others Roman tombs. Not sure how you would differentiate, but let's go and take a look. Into the catacombs. Ooh. This is where they were put. Just make out a series of ancient steps that have been carved into the rock. Yes, they were indeed. Almost within touching distance of the fortifications, but I think I'm going to have to go back down in order to go the long way around. Let's clamber back down. Quite tricky actually, it's always hard to getting down, isn't it? I can see myself sliding and ending up in one of those tombs, and hopefully somebody will hear my cries for help. And down, not without a few grazes. So they were the Christian catacombs, these are the Roman tombs next door, or vice versa, who knows. Signposted for the first time. First sign. Before that, here is an example of what is known as cart tracks or cart ruts, which are a feature of the island. We'll probably see a few more before we leave, but yeah, the ruts in the stone caused by, the theory is, prehistoric sledge carts which were dragged over the same routes for hundreds of years, creating these grooves. Pretty historic cart ruts. Wow, really having a history lesson today. Let's go up to those walls, continue. Interesting little section as we head up above the tombs. Now, just come away from the ridge line, a few meters inside it, just inside the walls. Whoa, it's about the 6th time I've stumbled today. No harm done so far. An old installation where presumably they used to have some gun turrets fixed. Here we have a shepherd and his flock. Still on the right track. Getting in towards the interior of the island now. Just glimpsed the city of Malta. I don't think it was Malta that I saw. I think it was Rabat, ensconced in darkness under a very heavy cloud, which has just brought a few raindrops my way. Nothing too bad at the moment. Let's continue onwards. Where in fact that is Malta, and that is currently bathed in sunlight. Hopefully about a couple of miles away at most. Just approaching the road now. And that crossing, continue on the other side. That point is called the Falka Gap, and that will mark the halfway point approximately of my trek. And there's Malta, still bathed in sunlight. And on we go. Looks very much like the material they used to build most of their houses. Even though the wall is quite low along this part, the fault line is still pretty evident when you look at the landscape around it. Much of it well below this level. It's that part of the island, north side, that over the years the military tacticians were prepared to sacrifice in order to keep the valuable populated southern end of the island safe. Just reached the outskirts of Malta. Just need to cross the road and then pick up the wall from the other side. A bit more peaceful down here. Should be able to find the wall over here quite easily now. And here we have a nice little path taking us right to the edge of the wall again. The original wall still in place, in good condition this bit. Pretty good surface underfoot this stretch. As we head towards Fort Malta, which is under the control of the Maltese authorities, out of bounds as far as I'm concerned. So the idea is to clamber around the outskirts of it somehow, get round the other side, negotiate a valley, and then onward for the home stretch. Right, let's start to clamber around the perimeter then. This little pillbox is just outside the military zone. So just checking out some good views going along the valley. Strange construct. Wonder what that signifies. Some sort of local voodoo warning. See this and die. Let's continue. Still skirting the perimeter of the fort. Battery on the phone is starting to get a bit low. Better watch out for that. I've used my phone on a couple of occasions to establish where exactly I am. So try and finish this and get on the bus home by sunset, which around these parts is about 6 o'clock these days. Right, that fort took forever to get round. Reached the eastern edge now. I somehow want to get down into that valley and somehow make it to round about there to skirt the quarry and head up in that direction. Down in the valley and about 2.5 miles to go. It's 3 o'clock. I've made really good progress. 3.5 hours so far. Even if it takes me 3 hours to do the final leg of 2.5 miles, which you never know it might do due to the terrain being a bit tricky, then I should still be able to get my bus home. Well, I headed up the valley for a while. Thought I had time to find the chapel of St. Paul the Hermit, but after a while the terrain along that valley became absolute madness underfoot. It was almost impossible to walk over the boulders that began to appear on the valley floor, so I turned around. Yeah, that was the fort. Now heading towards the outskirts of the quarry and make my way onto the final leg, the last 2 and a bit miles, and then the bus home. Here's the quarry. Big on quarries on this island. My turning is just down there, I believe. Well, I just crossed another main road, picked up the trail on the other side. At the moment, I think I'm just walking beneath the wall. Something slightly different in terms of perspective, but you can see the line all the way up to there, which I think is some sort of viewing point up there where the trees are on top. That's where I'm heading for. Down into another valley, up the other side to the viewing point. Just wasted half an hour in the wrong direction. Well, the right direction, but just the wrong route slightly. What looked like a public footpath eventually turned into private property, which became impossible to negotiate. So I'm going to go for option B. Not quite as pretty, but should still get me there. Right, so the wall is now back on my left. And still quite a distance from the top of the world, which is the viewing point. Down into another valley. Shadows are starting to get longer now. That's where I've come from on the left, and now that's where I'm going to on the right. For the last mile or so. The last mile took me about an hour to reach this place, the top of the world. Those steps took it out of me. My legs aren't quite what they used to be. God knows how I'm going to get up Mount Fuji in a few months' time. Let's press on. I haven't stopped at all really, pushed myself, and now I've got nearly 2 hours to play with to do the last mile, and battery's still just about holding out. Top of the world, which bodes well for the next mile or so. Nearly there. So the plan now for the final little bit is to follow the wall round down the final valley of the day and reach the other side of the valley, somewhere over there. and hopefully make my way to the final fort of the day, Fort Madliena, in the town of Madliena, where I catch my bus home. God, this stretch has been madness. Super slow though. Terrain is awful, just boulders and big stones, all very loose. The last climb, hopefully. So 3 days ago, the battery on my phone died 5 minutes from the end of my journey. I'd come down into that valley and that's where it died. I'd come up the steps and then I came along Engineer Street here in Madliena, past these nice houses. The nicest houses I've seen in Malta. And at this point I was 5 minutes away from Fort Madliena, which is just around the corner behind that wall. And that's where I finished my trek. So I came back to finish the recording at the end of the Victoria Lines. Fort Madliena. A couple of 100 meters down the hill to the side of Fort Madliena is where I came and saw the east coast, just the other side of the nice houses. And there it is, coast to coast, fully recorded. Right, back to the car. Yes, this is the cliffs at Dingley.
I'm not sure that's a proper pronunciation.
No, it gives it a sort of Irish tinge, doesn't it? The Dingley Cliffs. The cliffs at Dingley.
And the daffodil sitting in there.
Where's a daffodil?
No, I'm just saying that. What? Start again.
How does that happen? Popular place, Dingley Cliffs. Here comes a coach tour. Do you want to see some cart ruts?
Okay, are they up here?
Yeah. Not quite as good as the ones I saw the other day. Yesterday, in fact. This place is known colloquially as Clapham Junction. Bit disappointing. A fairer description would be the Winchester to Woking section of the main branch line. Clapham Junction I don't quite see. Well, all I can say is a good job they didn't charge an admission fee.
Wow, very formal gardens. Maybe not quite to the level of the side.
The old walled city of Medina.
Got a lot of wall.
Previously the capital of the country. Nowadays just a tourist attraction. Standing on the walls of Medina, the old walled city, and that's pretty much over there, somewhere where I started my Victoria Lines walk, across the middle of the country. Grey clouds, blimey, that wasn't predicted.
Oh look, for me,
Or forecast.
2,100.
My kind of God. Fabulous old tree. See the catacombs. The catacombs under St. Catholdus Church. We have gained admittance by donating to the upkeep of the church. And we are in the catacombs. Catacombs.
You know I don't get frightened of stuff like that.
I'm such a baby. I don't get claustrophobic.
Maybe make a fuss about it.
I'm going further down.
Yeah, me too.
I'm holding my nerve. Mind these steps. These are very deep and a bit uneven.
That's what they've got, 2 rails either side.
Light or dark? Let's go dark. Whoa! Blimey. Where's this to go?
Oh, this is very similar,
These are the tombs, aren't they?
very similar to the one in Sophia.
No, it doesn't lead anywhere.
All right.
I'm lost.
We've seen it.
I'm lost. How do we get out of here? Which entrance do we go through? Is that where we came? Could be. Do you know the way?
No.
Come on. So, our second catacombs of the day. This one, the catacombs of St. Paul.
We used to watch it like 2 hours every stage one. Have you got one? Got a phone. Just as long as the light's still going down.
And down we go again. Elizabeth has found the narrowest entrance to a catacomb and the lowest ever, and we're venturing in. And these catacombs are huge, and it took us 5 hours to get out of the last catacombs.
This is a big cave.
We could be even longer in this one. Mind you, I think you've seen one catacomb, you've seen them all. A bit like if you've seen one bone crypt in a Portuguese church, you've seen them all.
Oh, mine.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Just keep talking and I'll be able to find you. Keep talking, I'm trying to find you.
No, you're not.
Sing a song. You down there?
Yeah. I'm here.
Oh, hang on. Is it you?
No.
You in there?
Yeah.
Oh. God, I thought I'd lost you. Right, you know the way out?
Of course.
Show me the way.
You have to bend your head.
God. And here, on the road just outside Rabat, is the shrine to the Jesus tree. Yes, the Jesus tree. A local tree that was struck by lightning and the contorted bark metamorphosed into an image of Jesus hanging from the cross. And there it is. And it's worshipped by the locals. People bring gifts and lay flowers on a daily basis in homage to Jesus and all he did for us. Spiral staircase into the dome. So in 1942, the Luftwaffe dropped a bomb on this place. There's 300 people sat inside. The bomb pierced the dome, bounced off a wall, rolled across the floor, but failed to detonate. And this is what it looked like.
I needed that.
What for you? Is that all for me?
Yeah.
Had enough.
What?
Here we are in Mostar, approaching the local Subaru dealership.
There's loads of them in there. They must be worth a fortune.
This place went bust in the 1990s. It's still abandoned, this showroom,
Wow.
but the original cars from that
Who owns
time
them?
are still on display.
And the vans. They must be worth a fortune.
Like a real time capsule. Still there from the 1990s. Despite being abandoned since the 1990s, we are told the garage is in use day and night, strictly no parking. So after failing miserably in our attempt to get the car ferry to Gozo yesterday from the top of the island, we're going to have another stab today. We've got the ferry across from the three cities, and that's our ferry now, which will be a passenger ferry, a fast ferry to Gozo. Fingers crossed. So, do you think we are on our way to Gozo today?
I've no idea, Nick.
We thought about it yesterday, didn't we? Well, we finally made it to bloody Gozo, and there's a citadel in the town of Victoria. Finally got here by ferry and bus.
She goes in that way, does she? Look at these page notes. Oh, look.
The hill,
Yeah.
in the distance. What's weird about it?
What the hell's that noise?
Sounds like another bloody quarry. Down the buildings. Oh, the hill with the windy road that goes up it.
Yeah.
And the little fortification on the top.
But I'm going to have to
Mind the
stand
step.
still and do it because I'm going to drop it.
What a strange looking animal. What's your name then? You look like a Terence. We have arrived in Bethlehem on this beautiful day. This might be Bethlehem. Ooh. It is.
This is the way in.
Oh, right. Oh, there it is.
Perhaps we should just walk up the middle and then back down one of the sides.
Let's do it. Let's go and see the baby Jesus. They're playing that song too fast, aren't they?
Definitely.
Quack. Bird might you be? God, look at the size of that turkey. I would think it was Christmas. Look at the size of that turkey. Gee. It's one ugly bird. God, what are you guys doing in there? Hmm? What a strange place this is. Okay, let's get back on that boat. It's dark.
Oh my God.
A hectic day. Oh, that was a very pleasant meal on our last evening. And now it's back to the Boko Boutique Hotel for the last time. Up the hill. Where's Mrs. Hand? There she is. Huey! big old boats. So we are at the airport, ready to fly home after our week in Malta. And of all the countries I've been to in the world, I think Malta is the only one where I would definitely never ever return. People were very friendly. People in the streets you pass by, they say good morning, they'd smile, they'd be very happy, very content with their lives obviously. Very friendly people, but not much else to recommend. Roads are so clogged with traffic. There are probably more cars per head of the population in this country than anywhere else in the world, I would imagine, judging by what I've seen. And the problems we had with transport were unbearable. Tuesday, my bus journey to the remote starting point of my trek was well planned, using the official Malta bus timetables on their website. The schedule provided a reasonable transition time to affect each bus changeover. The 11:13-109 bus was crucial though, because if I missed that, the next one was an hour later, pushing back the trek start time to 12:30 and putting completion in doubt. First of my 3 bus journeys. I waited for a few moments. I checked the timetable. All was in order. The bus was due in 4 minutes. Then suddenly, a lady from across the road beckoned me across. I crossed, and she informed me that on a Tuesday, being market day, this road wasn't in use during the morning because the road the bus travels down to get here is blocked off by hundreds of market stalls. She gave me instructions. Walk 10 minutes to a terminus. Walking fast. What would happen when I got to the terminus? How would that affect my plans? I followed her directions through this archway that led to the sprawling marketplace on a Tuesday morning. I prayed, and round the corner we hit the market stalls, which went on and on for about a quarter of a mile. Somehow my prayers were answered. I found the terminus and jumped on the bus just as it was leaving, obviously late. And running, I also somehow caught both connections, the crucial last one as both buses arrived at the stop simultaneously. Annoyingly, I had lost so much of my phone battery on board, checking the route and connections, that I was unable to use my phone at the end of my trek to find an alternative route home after being left stranded in Madliena by another bus that refused to show. I waited at the bus stop for the number 16 for half an hour. My phone has died. This is where I sat and waited. I have no idea what the time is. I have no access to Google Maps. I speak to an English lady out on a cycle ride with her son. Sometimes they don't bother coming up here. They skip this bus stop and just take a detour. Why don't you go down to the main road? It's about a mile away, she said, until I walked down to the main road and played it by ear. It is an uncomfortable, nightmarish journey. So if you ever want to catch a number 16 bus from here in the direction of Valletta, don't bother, because they don't turn up. The next day, Wednesday, we need to pick up a hire car from the airport. The car hire company have no premises there. The rep will deliver the car there for us to collect. The booking suggests it is imperative we be there on time. And then we notice this. The roadworks, wherever they may be. The scheduled bus does not arrive, and again I am forced to navigate on the hoof. Eventually a bus arrives, and we hope it is going our way. It does, and luckily we make our connection just and pick up our car on time. But for a while, again, it is stressful. We hired a car mainly in order to spend a day exploring the neighbouring island of Gozo. The worst day, the one that did it for me completely, was driving 20 miles to the north of the island to get the car ferry to Gozo. We arrived at 11:15. I knew there was a ferry at 11:15. The guys beckon us and we follow their instructions and line up in lanes. Waited there in the lane. One is due to depart any second now. We waited and waited. The 11:45 ferry came, we hadn't moved. The lanes are just stationary. Nobody is moving. All the cars that were queued up on the road behind us were being waved on to jump the queue. Dozens and dozens and dozens just shooting on. I ask, nobody gives any sensible ideas. Oh yeah, their priority. Oh yeah, they're all disabled. You know, obviously just taking the mick. The 12:15 arrives and we're still not able to get on it. Lorries start boarding. Oh, this one's just for lorries, yeah. Meanwhile, there's another stream of cars building up behind us on the road. And I think, well, they're going to be obviously given priority and just being sent straight on. After nearly an hour and a half waiting in lanes, missing 3 ferries, got out, moved the barrier at the back of our lane, asked the guy who was behind me to reverse his car, reversed the car out of the lane and drove back to Valletta. To summarise, the car ferry to Gozo is advertised as just turn up. Don't even need to buy a ticket. Just drive on and pay when you make the return crossing. Sounds great. And unlike the buses, the ferry will actually turn up, and so will the next one, and the next one. But you might not actually be allowed to board any of them. Buses. 3 bus journeys made, 3 very stressful journeys due to the initial bus not turning up on each occasion. Even driving the hire car was stressful, the roads being overcrowded with inadequate and confusing direction signs, making it very easy to get lost. If you come to Malta, sit on a beach, read a book, and don't move.